All right, now starting with number 10. This one, we can actually factor out a 4 and an m squared. So I have 4m squared, and this is going to leave me with m cubed minus 8. Okay, so 2 of my roots, because I'm going to have 5 of them, 2 of them are going to be 0. Okay, and now I need to factor this. And this is the difference of two cubes. Remember, this is 2 to the 3rd power. So this is going to be m minus 2, and then m squared plus 2m plus 4. Okay, so here's 2 of your roots. Here's 1 root right here. And now I need to use the quadratic formula to figure out this one. So a is 1, b is 2, c is 4. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a times c over 2a. Okay, so x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 16 is negative 12 over 2. All right, so let's look at, I'm going to bring this over here. No, actually I'll continue it over here. But the square root of negative 12 equals the square root of 4 times the square root of negative 3. So the square root of 12 is 2 times the square root of negative 3, which is 2i times the square root of 3. Okay, so coming and bringing this over here, we have negative 2 plus or minus 2i times the square root of 3 all over 2. And now I divide these by 2, and I have negative 1 plus or minus I times the square root of 3. So my total zeros are 2 right here. Remember that plus or minus gives us 2. We have 1 right here, which is 2, and we have 2 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this one I told you was factorable. And so if we use the X box method, I drop down a negative 1. 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. So what multiplies to give me negative 30 and adds to give me negative 1? Well, that's going to be negative 6 and 5. So now I replace the negative 6 and the 5 for the 1 right here. So 2x squared minus 6x plus 5x minus 15. And now I factor by grouping, so I've got 2x, x minus 3, plus 5 times x minus 3. And I'm left with x minus 3 times 2x plus 5. And of course, all of this equals 0. And so now one of my x's is 3. And this one, if I set it equal to 0, I've got 2x equals negative 5 divided by 2. So x also equals negative 5 halves. So that is the answer to 11. Let me just make sure. Yep. Okay, number 12. I really like number 12 because you can just look at the answer on the graph. So I've got 3 zeros, 3 solutions, and I know that the real ones cross the x-axis. Well, it just so happens that this graph crosses the x-axis 3 times, so all my answers are real, and they're going right on integers. So x equals negative 2, negative 1, and 3. Over here it's a little bit different. Okay, again I have 3. It's crossing someplace where it looks like negative 1.5, which It is actually, but we're maybe not 100% sure, so we've got to look. Okay, and it bounces at 1. So I know that 2 of my 3 are 1. So let's say I don't know what this one is. And I'm going to move this up just, no, I can't. Okay, so I'm going to use synthetic division. And actually I'm going to, no, I'm going to be over here. I can't decide. Okay, and I'm going to divide by 1 because I know that that's one of the roots. So I have 2, -1, -4, and 3. So this comes down, that's 2. 1 times 2 is 2. This is a 1, 1, -3, -3. So this is a 0. So that's one of my roots. Now I also know that 1 is another root. I have 1 twice because it bounces. So I'm going to actually use synthetic division again to whittle it down even more. So this is 2, 2, 3, 3, 0. And so now this was my x cubed. This was x squared. So this is just going to be 2x. So this is 2x plus 3 equals 0. So 2x equals -3. Divide by 2. X equals -3/2, which is exactly what we thought it was. And 1, and 1. So there are my 3 solutions. Okay. Moving along. I gotta watch my time. Okay. This one we have 4. We have 4 solutions, and they're all real numbers. Okay? And I see that one of my x's is -4, and another x is 1. And I'm not 100% sure what these other 2 are. I bet it's a plus or minus square root of something. But now let's do synthetic division. So -4, this is 1, 3, -9, -15, 20. So I know that this is going to be a 0 here, but I want to make this smaller. So I keep dividing it down and dividing it down. So this is 1, -4, -1, 4, -5. This is 20. This is 5. This is -20. Okay, so actually, if you look closely, I actually have an option. I could factor this by grouping. If you look at the coefficients, I could probably do it by grouping. But I'm going to keep going. So -4 is one of my roots. 1 is another one. So I'm going to use synthetic division again. So I've got 1. This is 1. 0, 0. -5, -5, 0. So down here I'm left with, remember this was x to the 4th, this is x cubed, so this is x squared. So what I have here is x squared minus 5 equals 0. Well, that means that x squared equals 5 if I add 5 to both sides. And then I take the square root, so x equals plus or minus the square root of 5. So there's the other 2. Plus or minus the square root of 5. So there are my four roots. Okay, I'll go on with 15 in the next video.